Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 10th of June, 2023. But I was looking back and checking out some things about, and I think some videos I had made earlier when Prophets of Awakening first started. I think it was kind of before their time. But it's a good thing that, I did them and posted them. So I'm going back and to this particular connection because I think it's needed. Be connecting the dots with ZERUBBABEL, Daniel, Antiochus Epiphanes, and the end times to make a statement pertaining to the Old and the New Testament. A lot of people ain't getting, a lot of people struggling with the fact that what the New Testament is, so hopefully through this right here, and connecting the dots with it, it'll help some people. We're gonna do a lot of reading, and the people that want to help participate with the reading, they can, and the ones that don't, it's all good. So I want to let everybody know you can go to our YouTube channel on YouTube and check out our videos. We got a lot of videos pertaining to why we are non-Messianics and don't believe in the New Testament. These videos will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of all the scriptures. And if you like what you are hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This be greatly appreciated. And you can see our Cash App at the bottom of the screen. And if you feel the need to support the channel, that would be also greatly appreciated. So with that being said, we're going to go into our let me get it. Let everybody know that this is a non-Messianic channel. And by that I mean the Tanakh and the Torah. And the Tanakh is the Old Testament. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of hosts. Pretty much the law. The Torah and the law is one and the same. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our Sabbath class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We do a Sabbath prayer. We're going to read the Psalms, do a couple of current events. Then we'll deal with some need to know information, open it up for some Q&A. Then we go right into connecting these dots pertaining to ZERUBBABEL and Daniel, Antiochus, and end times. Okay, so with that being said, we'll give a shout out, moment of silence to the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee and worshiping thee for thy might and thy power and thy great understanding. O Lord, the end times that you have foretold unto our forefathers are upon us. O Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. And thank you for another Shabbat. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word that is delivered in righteousness and in truth. O Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days. And we will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because there is none else besides you. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, read a psalm. Okay. Okay. I'll read Psalms 50. It's God is the judge. It's a song of Asaph. Asaph being David's chief musician. The mighty God, even the Lord, has spoken. and call the earth from the rising of the sun until the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. By the heavens shall and the heavens shall declare his righteousness. For God is judge himself. Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for the sacrifice or the burnt offerings to have been continuously before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he goat out of thy fold. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High. I call upon me in the day, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or thou shalt take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instructions, and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consented with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speaketh against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I have kept silent. Though thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forgot God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praises glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God. So that was Psalms 50. God is the judge. Anybody have any comments or questions on that? Okay, yeah, I want to shine a light on a couple things in this song. So it says, notice I've been proclaiming this from day one, how that, we got the Creator, which is Yahweh, and his Redeemer. They're two different beings. One is the Lord of Yahweh, Creator, and the other one is the Lord of Hosts. It's the strong one, which is Michael. So I want to read this right here again. Psalm 50, starting at verse 14. Where I start at 11. This is the Lord of Hosts talking. He says, I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, fullness thereof. I will eat the flesh of will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Now look at this. This is the Lord of Hosts talking, the Redeemer. Offer unto God thanksgiving. Pay thy vows unto the Most High. So he referring them to the Creator. Offer unto God. Yeah. Then 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble. He to deliver. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked, God said, this killed the New Testament right here. But unto the wicked, God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. So he asking the wicked, these Gentiles. New Testament says he brought the Gentiles in, right? It says right here, but unto the wicked, God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statute, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. So law, statutes, and the precepts and all that go to the Israel. Covenant is with Israel. So he said, what you got to do with that? In 17, seeing that thou hated, see, they hated instructions, and eat of my words, and casted my word behind thee. So that killed the New Testament. He's saying he brought the Gentiles in, but look what he's saying. He's saying, you don't have nothing to do with the covenant. You don't have nothing to do with my statute. You hate my laws and my statutes and you cast them behind you. Right? 18. And when thou sawest the thief, right, instead of calling the thief out, thou consented with him and has been partaker with the adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil and thy tongue framed with deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one like thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So we see right here, contrary to what you believe, thinking that all these things that's been said and spoken in this book ain't gonna come to pass. What he says right here, Psalm 50:19, thou givest thy mouth to evil and thy tongue framed with deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thought it, because we ain't seen him come back and do what he gonna do yet. He says, thou these things that thou hast done and kept silent, thou thought it, that I was altogether such as one like yourself, but I will reprove thee, right? Just like he said, and I will set everything back in order. So you can bank on that. Okay. Any comment?
So like the Gentiles can't be drafted in. That's going against like with the New Testament, how New Testament say you can pray to Jesus Christ and be forgiven, and everybody just come in.
He's and the thing about that, what's so crazy about that is way back, he always the stranger could always come in, but they have to come in, like he was just saying, they have to come in through Israel, through the Israelite, and they have to come in keeping his law, statutes, and his judgments. And he just said right there, they can't do that. It's hard for them to do. Some of them, it's people that done it and ain't gonna do it, but they hate his law, statutes, and judgments to the
Okay.
point where they rather create a whole nother God, like in the New Testament, rather than submit to the God of Israel and his statutes and his laws and his covenant. They always had a way in. The stranger always could come in.
Okay. Yeah, that was something. That was something that I needed to understand.
Right. And so based on another thing about that is when he created Adam in his image and all that, it formed him. Okay. Then when these fallen angels came, slept with these women, got these giants giants didn't come from him. See what I'm saying? So that they mixed angelic DNA with human DNA. That process right there is the reason why they won't have nothing to do with the creator. That's where homosexuality, all these perversions came in at when they mixed angelic DNA with human DNA. So they essence is they don't want to have nothing to do with the Most High. So and that's why the flood came. That spirit that's in these giants, that's in all these mutations that came from that, has nothing to do with the Most High because it didn't come from him. That was a spirit that was born in deception and adultery that was upon the earth. But that's not the case for us as Israelites and as Adam descendants. That spirit was placed in Adam. It came from Yahweh. And that's the difference. A lot of people don't really understand that. So he had nothing to do with them. And they don't want to have nothing to do with him. Okay. Okay, so anybody got any more comments before we move on? Okay, so we got current events right here.
Welcome to Asian Quick Take. I'm Jacob, and today we'll delve into the recent developments in the BRICS alliance and its potential impact on the global economic landscape. Brace yourself for an insightful exploration of the evolving dynamics within the world's largest developing economies. The inclusion of Saudi Arabia as the 9th member state of the official BRICS Bank, also known as the New Development Bank, is a significant development that holds tremendous implications for the BRICS alliance. This move is poised to significantly strengthen the collective influence and capabilities of the alliance. It's crucial to recognize that this development poses challenges for the United States currency, the dollar. Losing Saudi Arabia as its long-standing Middle Eastern ally is a substantial setback for the U.S., given the strategic importance of the region.
Before we were using Monday.com, our team was
China, the emerging superpower, adds further complexity to the global economic landscape. For decades, Saudi Arabia has been a key partner of the United States in the Middle East, and their alliance played a pivotal role in establishing the petrodollar system. The petrodollar, which originated in 1973 through a bilateral agreement between the United States and Saudi Arabia, dictated that oil trade and pricing would be denominated in US dollars. This arrangement significantly benefited the United States, bolstering its global standing and securing the dollar's status as the dominant global reserve currency. However, the petrodollar system is now rapidly unraveling, casting doubt on its long-term viability. According to the Financial Times, the addition of Saudi Arabia to the BRICS Bank would reinforce the ties between this financial institution, created by the largest developing economies and the world's second-largest oil producer. The potential admission of Saudi Arabia to the BRICS bloc has already garnered interest from other countries, with Iran and several others expressing their intent to join. This sets the stage for a potentially expanded BRICS alliance, with as many as 19 nations actively expressing their interest. Moreover, the Financial Times highlights the growing synergy between China and Saudi Arabia, with both actively seeking closer ties. This burgeoning relationship holds mutual benefits, particularly in the context of China's rising oil imports. China, as the largest global oil importer, has been utilizing its yuan currency to purchase oil and liquefied natural gas from Saudi Arabia. Predictions indicate that China's oil imports will reach an all-time high this year, further solidifying this significant partnership.
Okay, so I'm playing videos constantly about this. It's coming up about BRICS. So in my conversations with different platforms with different people, you see, you got people that say these diehard Christians and people that sold out on JC say that there's no way a man could orchestrate it, or a group of men could have orchestrated the New Testament. It's too many profound things in the New Testament. It had to been it had to have divine origins, right? So, and my thing is to keep on showing you from all angles that I possibly can that's revealed to me is how slick Esau is. So let's look at that right quick before I go. So to see how slick Esau is, so the Lord Himself tell us this right here in Obadiah. He says, you gotta let your mind wrap your mind around this. He says in Obadiah, let me get it. Okay. It's trying to hide from me, so we gotta give me a minute. But we'll die here. Crazy. So he says that let me get this, man. It's crazy. Okay. Oh, tricky. Okay. Yeah, Obadiah. It says in verses 8, it's only one chapter in Obadiah. It says, this is the Lord talking. Verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of Esau? So that's what he's talking about. So Esau, wise men. You got to remember, he was in the presence of Abraham, just like Jacob was. But you see right here, it's wise men, not just one. It's a bunch of wise men in Edom and the understanding out of Esau. So what understanding he talking about? It's understanding of the things that they're doing. So like I said, people are saying, this had to be a divine origin. JC and the whole New Testament, the apostles and Paul and all that. But like I said, over and over again through one video after another, and I'm showing you how this all was orchestrated. But so look at the petrodollar. That's a hell of a that's a work of art itself. They devised this based on controlling the whole world. They devised the petrodollar that rose America to its where it's at today. So like I said before, when you understand who Edom is, the Most High got laws, statutes, and judgments pertaining to money, which is today the banking system. And so one of them was not to loan money to people for a profit. So this is what he started doing. He took that went against the Most High's commands and created a banking system. And through the banking system, he didn't shut down the whole world. He controlled the whole world. He got all the money flowing toward him. And so one of the geniuses, what he used was the petrodollar. What's the difference in the petrodollar and the New Testament? When you look at it, that's a hell of a concept to come up with. So I said all that to say this. They use the petrodollar. Just the hidden hand. I'm showing you the hidden hand that nobody seems to know because they keep telling you Esau been done away with. But the Most High says that when the two boys was born, Jacob grabbed hold of Esau's heel. So that was symbolizing that the end of this world, Jacob is going to be ruling. And the beginning of the next world is Jacob holding his hand. And that's where we at. So how in the world is Esau done away with in the scriptures when he's at the end of this world? He's the one, that's the whore. That's in Israel today posing as a real woman. Posing as the Most High's bride. So, like I was saying, just like we saw him concoct this petrodollar and propelled America and propelled himself to I got all the world flowing, all the money flowing to him. Now we seeing him, he behind this, he the hidden hand behind bricks. Just like he brought the petrodollar to his prominence, now he bringing it down. It's a hidden hand behind. He bringing the bricks is like cancer to what he previously done. We see him destroying what he done earlier because of what bricks is more money involved now. The petrodollar and America and all that he had set up before to get the wealth he got Now he has to create something else in order to advance himself to get more money. And that's what we're seeing. He's the hidden hand behind the Chinese and the rise of the Chinese. He behind it. It's a hidden hand behind it. So I just want to shine a light on that. Any comments on that? Everybody good? Okay. So I want to do this little need to know information. Like I said, this him right here also, that this came out the blue. It's already been said that he was gonna do it, but here you go.
Breaking news on this story on UFOs. And my good friend, Leslie Kane, along with Ralph Blumenthal, have broken an amazing story over the debrief. Now, Leslie has been an amazing journalist. My friendship with her goes back years, and she is really an impeccable journalist. So here at the debrief is an unbelievable story about UFO retrievals. And an intelligence official, whistleblower, has come forward and admitted that the U.S. has, in fact, crashed non-human UFO vehicles, and they're reverse engineering them. This is an unbelievable story. Of course, I think we already all knew this was the case, but to hear it on the record from an intelligence source who has the highest possible level of U.S. government clearance.
Okay, so let's put this in perspective before we let it keep going. So they're saying UFOs, aliens and UFOs, right? Where they came from, where they supposedly coming from, out of the sky, from the heavens. Okay, so let's go back and connect this with the biblical. Just like we's looking at the reason you don't deal with the New Testament, because JC ain't in the Old Testament. How you gonna deal with him? He ain't in the Old Testament, right? So there ain't no aliens in the Old Testament. But what is in the Old Testament? Nephilim, fallen angels, those that came from out of the sky.
Giants.
Giants. That's what this kind. That's what this is. You aliens ain't in the Old Testament, but giants is. The connecting parts of that is they came out of the sky. So what you got to understand is that these are what the Bible's saying they are. They supernatural beings. They coming from out of the sky. So our forefathers back in the day, and their descendants was dealing with this same situation. So it was the same thing now. They ain't went nowhere. So it was the same thing, but they didn't put another twist on it. Okay.
Highest possible. So let's go through this piece from Leslie Kane, a former intelligence official turned whistleblower, and I should give, and Ralph Blumenthal also wrote this piece. We give credit, but I know Leslie. She's amazing. Anyway, a former intelligence official turned whistleblower has given Congress and the intelligence community inspector general extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says possess retrieved, intact, and partially intact craft of non-human origin. So is there a bigger story at all right now? Can you think of one? The information, he says, has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures, reported here for the first time. Other intelligence officials, both active and retired, with knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborating information, both on and off the record. Here's the whistleblower. This is David Charles Grush, 36, decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, the National Reconnaissance Office. He served in the Reconnaissance Office's representative of the United Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, from 2019 to 2021. From late 2021 to July 2022, he was the NGA's co-lead for the UAP analysis and its representative to the task force. There's Grush. Again, the highest level of government clearance possible. The task force was established to investigate what were once called an unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, are now officially called unidentified anomalous phenomenon. They changed the name, which is part of a, call it a PSYOP if you like. The task force was led by the Department of Navy under the Office of Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. It has been reorganized and expanded into the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to include investigations of objects operating underwater. Grush said that the recoveries of partial fragments through and up to intact vehicles have been made for decades, he says, through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors.
Okay, so let's look at that. In case you want to check these out on your own, listen to this. That was the one I'm listening to is we have alien crafts in our possession. It's a government UFO whistleblower admits this are redacted. But you got another video that go more in depth with the interview. Is U.S. has UFO retrieval program, former Air Force veteran claims. So you want to check that out. And then once you Google this, you're gonna get other information about it. But my point is this: the reason why I'm playing this is notice that they say they got whole crafts, wreck crafts, and they've been back engineering it from this information. They've been back engineering, and that's where you're seeing all this progress in technology and AI and all that coming from. So my point is this, like I said earlier, who came down from the skies in the Tanakh, in the Word of God? It wasn't aliens, it was fallen angels, and then we know what they did. So I'm back in Enoch, and it says, and all the others together with them took unto them wives, each chose from himself or one, and they began to go in unto them to defile themselves with them. Now here you go right here. And they taught them charms, enchantments, cutting of the roots. So why are you saying that? Well, the humans, they know shit about that. They don't run about like now we dealing with marijuana and all these different plants that cause hallucination, all that. They didn't know nothing about that. They just showed them. They ain't know nothing about it. So it says, and made them acquainted with the herbs, right? Then you go on down to, and it says, Aziel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, made them, look at this, made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them and the bracelets, see that, to metals. Ain't these UFOs made out of metals? Right? It says, then some gods are taught enchantments, cutting of the roots, or resolving of enchantments. So this is where the information came from. So this is my point. These highly intelligent beings, you think that's it? That's elementary. To make a knife and to make a crown, these highly intelligent beings. So what's the limit and the depth of their knowledge? These UFOs. This is just what they show to humans. They got a desire in their heart. They in a rebellious spirit. They highly intelligent beings, and they've been cast away from. They're not able to ascend back into heaven no more. The highly intelligent beings on Earth, they got access to all these metals and all this. Well, who you think in the UFOs? Who you think crafted them? Come on. We don't see them now. Why? Because their intelligence. Their whole desire was to go back in the heavens. And they had the whole planet Earth, knowing all the resources that was here. They found a way how to get back into the heavens. And how to deal with it in the ocean. And we see that's what they're doing. You got unidentified flying objects and unidentified submerged objects coming from the same place right here. Ain't no aliens in our history, but it's fallen angels in our history and giants and evil, wicked ass spirits. Okay, Any comments? Okay. I hope that helps somebody. Okay, so that being said, we're gonna open it up for some Q&A before we get into the class. I'm gonna use this class right here because of the importance of it for the whole Sabbath. We're gonna pick it up and finish it off in the evening Sabbath class. So right now we got some Q&A. I'm opening it up for Q&A, questions or comments about last night, anything else that was went on, anything you came across. Anybody got any comments or questions about anything?
Me, I just want to say I wasn't trying to be argumentative on I wasn't trying to be argumentative last night. I was just saying that when Most High cursed us, we were always cursed as one. It wasn't like he just cursed a few of us. We was cursed as one. When we came over here as slaves, we was all cursed. So for one person to be like, we doing good, it just Jay-Z and them are doing good, but they're still cursed.
Right, exactly.
It depends on it just depends on what your perception of doing good is, I guess.
Right. Well, it's the way to apply that. It's a way to apply that, and how you apply it is when it came to an intercessor, he chose one man. Like he chose Noah at the time of the flood as an intercessor. He chose Moses when they was in Egypt as an intercessor. But at the same time, he's dealing with a whole race of people that he promised through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and because they came forth from Jacob, one man, he see them as one man. So that's how to rightly divide all that. Both of those things are applied, but you have to put them in the right perspective.
Yeah, and it's just like my thing is it's like we have a lot of one of the problems is that we have a lot of Sambo females and Sambo males in the Israelite communities. You know, you give them a couple of dollars and let them dance around, and the next thing you know, we made it.
Right, exactly.
And that's the only thing that I was saying is that even as far as me, I mean, you showed me the detail and stuff. You showed me certain stuff. You gave me more confidence. I'm gonna say that. You showed me confidence when it came to doing my own business. You let me know that you told me. I remember you telling me that Most High put a skill in you. You don't have to ask nobody for no job and whoop. And I took that. Right now, I mean, it was a year that I made $70,000 just in my business alone by myself. I own 2 properties and all that. But I know that we are lost. We're still we has not made we are cursed. We're still going through stuff mentally and everything. We're mentally lost and mentally just confused.
Right.
So we still have to. The only way we're going to be saved is through Most High.
Right.
The Lord of Hosts.
Right.
We can't save ourselves because if that was the case, we don't need Him. What are we doing these group sessions for? Right. We're building together. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. So when you saying that, this is one of the things, like I was saying, my thing is to try to get a person completely connected to the scriptures and whatever it is you're reading. So based on what you're saying, if you go to Daniel, because Daniel in captivity, just like we're in the same predicament. And so we said the Lord of Hosts and the things he does is nothing new under the sun. He's doing the same thing he did then, he's doing now. So I'm in Daniel right quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is the prayer. And the same prayer that Daniel prayed, you know, when you come into the understanding of what's going on, you can pray the same prayer because you're dealing with the same God. So Daniel says, verse 4, Daniel 9 and verse 4 says, and I prayed unto the Lord my God, and I made my confessions, and I said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned, have committed adultery and iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings and our princes and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. So here we go, like what you were just saying. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee. So righteousness belongs to the Lord of hosts. But unto us, confusion of face. That's what we had. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They was confused as hell back then, and we in the same predicament because we're dealing with the same God. This is how he bring about punishment. So he says, righteousness belongs to you, but unto us, a confusion of face. We don't know who the hell we are. Drama coming from every angle. You know what I'm saying? As of this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off through all the countries, whether thou driven them because of their trespass, they have trespassed against us. So ain't no difference, right?
That's true.
There it is right there. We in the same predicament they was in. Okay.
Okay, yeah, let me mark that.
Right. So ain't nothing new under the sun. So anyway, let me get this right here. So there's a question was posed right here. It says, are the fulsome people and the 6-day man the same? Yeah, well, they are descendants from them, a cutoff of them. They was original people that was here. And when those Asiatics came through, like the guy was saying, through the Barren Straits, they intermingle with these people. That's how you get the Indian. Like I said, Israelite don't have no straight hair like that. That's a red flag. We got woolly hair. So our hair is alive. That's why it's woolly. But they want you to think it's something wrong with this woolly hair. It's straight hair. It's dead hair. And it's not a coincidence that where the hair is sitting there on our head. We got a pineal gland in our middle of our head. And those are antennas. Just like an antenna on the radio. You can't get the right station on the radio until you get the antenna straight, get it right. So our hair, this antennas dealing with the sun and the moon, and it's dealing with the pineal gland that's in our head. And the pineal gland, from what the hair doing with the sun, the pineal gland is secreting this substance out that's give us the skills that we have. Reason why we're different than everybody else. It's like I said, the sun, when it comes up, that pineal gland secretes a solution that causes us to wake up and deal with the day. Then when the night started coming, the moon started coming out, this pineal gland, because of the hair, secretes another solution that causes us to rest. But all this stuff going on a daily basis, and we don't have no damn clue about it. But all those are gifts he gave us a long time ago. Our forefathers understood it. And so unclean food is interrupting all that. That's why he's telling you not to eat unclean food. When you eating that, it's disrupting what he done set in place within the body. Okay? Yeah. Okay, I hope that helped you, bro. Anybody else got anything before we get into the class? Okay, so like I said before, in several different places, I got videos pertaining to Zerubbabel. And before this, like I said before, I was in the world back in the day, and then so the Most High came and turned me around, right? Like I was saying, confusing the face. I didn't know who the hell I was, nothing about, I just was a program, going along day to day, dealing with JC, and all this, afraid to venture out because they didn't trick you in the Bible telling you these 66 books is all you need, and JC is the way to the life. To go against anything he said, that's where I was at. So anyway, then he started dealing with me with the scriptures, right? So light was shined on Zerubbabel. And like I continue to say over and over again, I don't have to say nothing to nobody, whoever it is. I know for a fact You ain't know who the hell Zerubbabel was. So that's a sign. When you trying to deal with somebody and you say you seeking truth, this is a sign. So when the light shine on Zerubbabel, you ain't know he was in the scriptures, you ain't know shit about him, and then it's being shined on you. That's not something that you trying to go up against. It's something that you embrace because there's a light been shining on you. The Most High show grace to you. The light been shining on you. There ain't nothing to fight against. Because the reason why I'm dealing with Zerubbabel, because it kills JC. It kills all that. And it has to be killed in order for you to move forward and understand what's really going on and who you are and what the New Testament is all about. The Old Testament is all about. Because your essence and your being and you waking up and shaking off this confusion of faith is to get away from the New Testament. As long as you embracing that, I don't give a damn how many degrees you got. As long as you embracing that, that's ignorance. Point blank. It's ignorance. It's keeping you, it's a block to keep you from waking up to who you are. So, with that being said, who is Zerubbabel, right? Let's look at it. We're going to pick it up. All we know is JC, right? And Paul. Nobody saying nothing about Zerubbabel. You don't have a clue who he is. So, let me get it. We're going to be doing a lot of reading. Like I said, some people want to read some of these scriptures and can. If you don't, I'll read all of them. So it says, Haggai, right? I can go to other scriptures to bring out, to introduce you to Zerubbabel, but I'm choosing Haggai. So right here it says in Haggai, keep in mind now they tell you these are minor prophets. All these Zechariah, Malachi, Amos, all them is they say minor prophets, but we're gonna see through this search right here between the Sabbath class, morning Sabbath class, and evening Sabbath class, it's way bigger than that. You've been tricked off. So I'm in Haggai chapter 2, verse 20. So what's going on? Israel is in captivity. Our forefathers in captivity in Egypt. The Most High used Moses and got them out of Egypt. Now they back again with the same old tactics, and they've been cast out of their land again. They in Babylon. So he got to deliver them from Babylon. He used Moses during the time of Egypt. So now he got to get them out of Babylon. So I'm in chapter 2 of Haggai, verse 20. And again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai. So just telling you when Haggai existed. Haggai existed in this time frame while they was in Babylon and when they came out of Babylon. It says, and again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the thrones of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses, and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. It says, in that day, said the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Sethel, said the Lord, and I will make thee a signet, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord of hosts. So like I was showing you earlier about the confusion of faith. Our forefathers had a confusion of faith when they was in Egypt, when they was in Babylon, and we got a confusion of faith. We see right here, the God of Israel chose Moses to deliver them out of Egypt. He chose Zerubbabel right here to deliver them out of Babylon. But like I said before, who knows that? The reason why you don't know this is because they bringing up JC. They had to play this down in order for you to believe the story of JC. And so the people that concocted JC, what you have to understand is they have no God until Israel was destroyed as a nation, which is going to bring us to Antioch Epiphanes which is tied to the people that's ruling the world today. So then they never had a God. They didn't have no they had idols and images, but they never had a God, a strong one over them until they got hold of our scriptures and seen how our forefathers, the records they had wrote down and how our God operated. So they made a God off of that. That's why they have to, you can't deal with JC without the Old Testament. You just fall to the ground. If you don't have the Old Testament, everything they trying to show you in the New Testament is gonna fall to the ground if they can't go to the Old. So this is why we don't know who Zerubbabel is and the story surrounding him. So, like I said before, he calls out Zerubbabel right here. Just like we know who Moses is and all that Moses did in Egypt, but we don't know Zerubbabel and all that he done during the time of the Babylonian captivity and then bringing us out. Okay? So, like I just read Zechariah chapter 2 and verses 20 through 24, and our God chose Zerubbabel. I ain't choosing. I didn't write this, so we chosen. We see it right here. We chosen. We'll go to another place just for GP. I'm in chapter 2, but I'm in verse 1. It says the title is The Glory of the New Temple. This new temple is called Zerubbabel Temple. We're going to see why it's called Zerubbabel Temple. Solomon built the temple, but Zerubbabel built one too. Right? It says, in the 7th month, this is chapter 2, verse 1. In the 7th month, in the 1 and 20th day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai. So Haggai existed with Zerubbabel, saying, speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Sethur, governor of Judah, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, who is left among you that saw saw this house in our first glory? And how do you see it now? It is now in your eyes in comparison as nothing. Yet now, be strong, O Zerubbabel, said the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, son of Josedek, high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, said the Lord, and work, for I am with you, said the Lord of hosts. So let's look at that, because you got all these questions about the end times and all that. So the same way he's doing, when you understand this story right here and understand who Zerubbabel is and his origins and the goings on that happened during the time when he existed, it answers all the questions for the day. So they was in Babylon, they didn't have no temple. They knew where their land was at, right? They knew where their land was at, but there wasn't no temple there. He had destroyed it. He had used Nebuchadnezzar to tear it down. Well, we over in captivity. We got to go back. A temple got to be built. So they had a confusion of faith, had no idea what was going to happen, as far as they didn't know how it was going. They was destroyed mentally and as a people. We in the same place. Then, like I say, out of the blue, he brought forth Zerubbabel. There ain't nothing new in the sun. We know he did it with Moses. So what's being conveyed and what's being revealed now, it's not some far-fetched thing that it ain't gonna happen. We see it happen over and over again. Okay, so he says in verse 4, Haggai chapter 2, verse 4, yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, said the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, Josedek, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land. That's us, said the Lord, and work, for I am with you, said the Lord of hosts. According to all the words that I covenanted with you when you came up out of Egypt, so my spirit remaineth among you, fear ye not. So there it is. Spirit with us. It's not with everybody, it's not with all these, right? But it's a remnant, you got the spirit with him. And through that spirit that's in those people, he's gonna bring the same thing to pass again. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Right? So that was in Haggai. that Zerubbabel, it seems like his name come out of nowhere because you don't know the story. But it's been there the whole time, but they didn't give you another story and covered over this. So that was Haggai. Haggai is in that same time frame when they came out of Babylon. So that word governor is the same as king. So a king is anointed. David was anointed king. Samuel anointed David. Every king is anointed. That's Messiah. So Haggai is the governor, which is king. The reason they're saying governor is because of, you got to go back to, first start out with Nebuchadnezzar. He's the king of kings. He done conquered all these countries. So these other countries that he conquered, that king can no longer be called a king. He got to be called a governor. But he's a king. But he got to be called a governor because there's a king over him. So he got to be called a governor. So you say, what are you talking about? In America, you got the president. You got the 50-some other states. All the rest of those other states can't be called presidents too. They call governors. But they actually presidents over that state. But he calling them, they have to be, their title has to be denigrated. They can't be called president like the president. So Zerubbabel is called governor of Judah because Nebuchadnezzar king, the king of kings. And then we know Cyrus came. And Cyrus conquered the Babylonians. And Cyrus became the king of kings. So that means everybody else is governors. So with that understanding, we go to Zechariah, right? Chapter 4. And it says, and the angel of the Lord, and the angel that talked with me came again. This is Zechariah. So Zechariah is living at the same time. Zechariah and Haggai living at the same time. And their existence is to usher in Zerubbabel. See that? That's their whole purpose. They prophets. Their job is they listening what these angels telling them to usher in Zerubbabel. That's how big he is. So he says, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is awakened out of his sleep. And he said, so this angel came sent from heaven all the way to here to wake up, to bring this to Zechariah. So what is it that he bringing to Zechariah, right? It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and 7 lamps thereon, 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top, right? And 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. So we're gonna stop right there. So what he's explaining is the menorah. In case you don't know what the menorah is, that's the golden candlestick that's fashioned out of gold that the Most High gave a vision to Moses to build and to put it in the Holy of Holies. So what you're gonna find out is Zerubbabel, not JC, not Paul, ain't none of them connected to this menorah. This menorah represents the Sabbath, and the Most High, the 7 days he created the heavens and the earth. Sabbath is the staff, and the 6 branches coming off of it is the 6 days of creation. But I want to show you that Zerubbabel connected to this menorah. Not JC, none of them. So he says, 5, then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou what these be? And I said, no. So you notice he said, he asking him, I showed you a menorah. What is it? What's going on with these 2 candles, these 2 olive trees in this menorah? What's going on with it? Then verse 6, then this angel, this came from heaven. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel. See that? Saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? See that? Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, grace, grace unto grace. So what headstone? You got to remember that Cain named his sons after Adam's sons. Cain got a son called Enoch. Cain got a son called Methuselah. Cain got a son called Lamech. And Adam got the same thing, so they duplicating it. So we see right here, there's a headstone. 7. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel shall become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone. Ain't JC? Ain't it the headstone in the New Testament? Come on. So here goes the headstone, right? This is the real headstone. It's connected to Zerubbabel. And like I said before, the average person don't know who the hell Zerubbabel is. This is a wake-up call. So he says, the headstone thereof with shouting and grace. So what headstone he talking about? The temple. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the first temple. The Lord of hosts wanted his temple rebuilt in Jerusalem. So he's using Zerubbabel to go back to build a headstone, a cornerstone for this new temple that he's going to build. That, like I said, been written out the scriptures. So if you never heard of this, just the reason why. So if they use the New Testament to cover over Zerubbabel, then they use the New Testament to cover over the Lord. The Lord is over Israel. And covering over Zerubbabel, they covered over our whole culture. Because if you don't understand that what Zerubbabel role he played in our culture as one of our forefathers, then there's a lot of stuff been covered over. So let's look at it. So why is he all of a sudden out the blue dealing with this guy called Zerubbabel, right? So we go to Daniel. Like I say, the title is connecting Zerubbabel to Daniel, to Antiochus, and then unto the end time, right? So we go to Daniel, right? And notice how all this stuff is happening in the same time, just like us now. It's the end times. It's a true end times that's unfolding. And right here, this was prophesied, and it's unfolding. So all of it happened already, but it was prophesied at one time, and it's unfolding. So what triggered it was Daniel over here. Daniel in captivity in Babylon, and they was told they was going to be there 70 years, and now they're coming up to the 69 years, to the 70th year. So it was told to Daniel by the angel. Let's read what Daniel said. And you're going to notice how far out of context that the New Testament is when this is all uncovered. So Daniel chapter 9, verse 25, right? This is in Christian lore. It's supposed to be talking to JC, but it's not talking about Zerubbabel. Daniel 9:25 says, Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore. Nebuchadnezzar then tore down Jerusalem to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah. I told you what a Messiah was. As a king of Israel, he got to be anointed like David was. So he says, the prince. So the Messiah is, when you understand what it is, he's a prince, and he also is, in his verse, he's a king and he's a prince. You have to be, Solomon was a prince, but when David died, Solomon became a king. So you got a king and a prince in this verse. It says, the Messiah, the prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. So that's the prophecy. I'll read 26 too because it's pertaining to this lesson. 26 says, so we got to find out who this Messiah or this Prince is. Then 26 says, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah, this Messiah in Daniel 9:25, shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince, here go another prince that shall come. This prince is going to destroy the city after Zerubbabel built it. He's going to destroy the city, the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and until the end, wars and desolations are determined. So let me break this down right quick before we go forward. Going back to what I was talking to D-Ray about. It says, then the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. So the flood is misinformation, and lies came. A flood of lies came after this temple got destroyed, because he destroyed, the Israelites ran out. And then from that point on, that's when Psalms 83 came into play. They devised a plan for us not to know who we are no more. And they got hold of our scriptures, and they attacked our scriptures. So this flood right here is a flood of lies that got us where we are today, this confusion of faith that I mentioned earlier. So who is this prince? And where this prophecy took place here that Daniel prophesied says, know therefore and understand, 9:25, that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again. So when you go back, like I said, you're gonna see how, you know, all this stuff is being revealed today, but they want to cover it over and make it look like typos or mistakes that people made. So I want to show you otherwise. So in order to shine a light on this prophecy I just read in Daniel 9:25, I got to go to Ezra. So my point is this: I got to go all the way back to Ezra. Ezra way before the book of Daniel. So this ain't no typo. This is the same people I just talked about. They concocted the petrodollar and concocted America and all this stuff we're dealing with today. The same people that did this. So it says to find the prophecy, I got to go all the way back to Ezra, but Ezra is not before the prophecy. Ezra, the book of Ezra is after the prophecy, but they got the book of Ezra before the prophecy, right? So it says in chapter 1 of Ezra, now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord might, by the mouth of Jeremiah, might be fulfilled. So that lines up, the line of scriptures up. You can talk till you blue in the face, but what he's saying right here takes you back to Jeremiah. Jeremiah came right before the book of Daniel. He lived right before Daniel did. Jeremiah told them they was going into Babylon for 70 years. And while they was in Babylon, Daniel in Babylon, then Daniel got the prophecy that Messiah was going to come to and take them back to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. The street's going to be built again and the wall. So Cyrus is confirming that. He says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah may be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation. This is the commandment that Daniel prophesied throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth and have charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. So this is the prophecy. Then it says, 3, who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, and build the house of the Lord, God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. So let's connect this dot with Daniel right quick. So Daniel 9, let's look at the prophecy. It says, Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, I just read that, until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, then here go. And the street shall be built again, and the wall in troublesome times. That's what Cyrus was telling them. Ezra chapter 1, verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people? Is God be with him? Let him go up to Jerusalem. Just synchronizing the prophecy. Go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, build the house of the Lord, God of Israel. He is the God which is so that's he given the commandment to go and do just what the angel came and gave Daniel, the prophecy. Then verse 4. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the free will offering of the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then it says, 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God have raised, go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver and with gold and goods and beasts and with precious things, besides that was willingly offered. So let's look at it. So, like I said, the God Israel changed not. So they left Egypt. What did they take with them? They took all the same stuff they got right here, gold, silver, and all that, because they needed it. They left Babylon, we see right here. They took gold. So what the hell you think will happen when we leave here? That's not some fictitious illusion. We see right here, it's gonna happen over and over again, and the God that's over us, he don't change. He don't change. He punishes, and then he come back and he redeems us. And it's got the same process. It don't change. So notice also in verse 5, he says, Judah, Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all of them whose spirit God had raised, to come out. So notice who was brought over here to America. When you go back to our history, transatlantic slave trade, Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites. Those are the 3 kingdoms they went to the West Coast and got. Benjamin, the Ashantes, and the Levites. That's who was brought here. This ain't nothing new under the sun. So 7. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his God. Even these did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hand of Mithra. This is where it get interesting at. Say, even did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. Right? So here go the prince of Judah right here. That's in Daniel 9:25. But his name is Sheshbazzar. That's not no Israelite name. So he says he brought all these gold and all this silver and put it in the hands of the vessels, and he put them in the hands of Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So let's deal with that. This is how we got hoodwinked. So with that being said, we're gonna go to let me get it. I'm in the Apocrypha book. I want to show you something. Okay, so it says, let me get it. Okay, yeah. I'm in the Apocrypha. Let me get you so I can give you the scripture. Okay, I'm in the first book of Ezra, and I'm gonna start reading at chapter 2, first book of Ezra. It says, in the first year that Cyrus, I just read this. It's just in the I'm going over it again in the first book of Ezra. Ezra's in the Apocrypha, and Ezra is the same person. in the first year that Cyrus reigned over Persia, to fulfill what the Lord said by the mouth of Jeremiah, the Lord stirred up the heart of Cyrus, king of Persia, and he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, Thus speaketh Cyrus, king of Persia, that the Lord of Israel, the Lord Most High, has made me king of the world, that's King of Kings, and directed me to build him a house in Jerusalem, in Judah. So if any one of you is of his people, the Lord be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem in Judah and build the house of the Lord of Israel. He is the Lord who lives in Jerusalem, right? So let a man's neighbor who live in each place help him with gold, silver, and presents, with horses, cattle, besides the other things added as vows for the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, right? Then the heads of the families of the tribes of Judah and the tribes of Benjamin arose, and the priests and the Levites, and all whose heart the Lord had stirred to go up to build a house of Jerusalem for the Lord. And their neighbors helped them with everything, and with silver and with gold, and with horses and cattle, and a great many vows from many whose hearts were stirred. And the king Cyrus brought out the sacred dishes of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried out from Jerusalem and deposited in the temple of his idols by Cyrus, king of Persia, brought them out and delivered them to his treasure in Mithras, and they were numbered over by him to Sheshbazzar, governor of Judah. See that? So we know this governor is king. So this is an Israelite, but his name is called Sheshbazzar. So it says governor of Judah, and this was the number of them. Okay, yeah. Anyway, it says, let me read that. It says, governor of Judah, and this is the number of them: 1,000 gold cups, 1,000 silver cups, 29 silver censers, 30 gold bowls, 2,410 silver bowls, and 1,000 other dishes. So all the dishes, gold and silver, 5,469 were taken. Look at this, were taken and carried back by Sheshbazzar, right? Along with those who had been in captivity from Babylon to Jerusalem. So let's look at it. So Cyrus came out and fulfilled the prophecy of Daniel 9:25 that they're telling you is a prophecy of Jesus, but it's a prophecy of Zerubbabel. So he came out and he numbered all this and fulfilled all that, and gave all the gold and the dishes that was in the temple that Nebuchadnezzar had taken, gave them to Sheshbazzar, a prince in Judea. So he's an Israelite, but he got this name called Sheshbazzar, right? And then so my point is, now that the prophecy been fulfilled, they got to get from Jerusalem, they got to get from Babylon back to Jerusalem. It's only one way to do it. They ain't have no Escalades, school buses, none of that to get back. So it was only one way for them to go back. Same way they got around was on donkeys and asses. So what we learned so far, Haggai is with them. Haggai is with this man, this guy right here. It says he received all this stuff, and then he left and went from, it says, along with those who was carried into captivity from Babylon to Jerusalem. So they all went back. They had to get from Babylon back to Jerusalem. Haggai with him. We already know Haggai with him from what we just read. Zechariah with him. This Sheshbazzar right here. Zechariah with him, right? All these men with him. So let's keep going. So back in I'm in the Apocrypha, right? I'm in this animated Apocrypha. Let me get it right quick. Okay. Okay. Give me a minute. Trying to find something. Yeah, right here. So I'm reading some of what I just read, but it's a reason I'm doing it. It says the number of these were I read it. It says 5,469, and they were carried back by Sheshbazzar with the returning exiles beyond from Babylon to Jerusalem. And then it also says that the same Sheshbazzar entered into Jerusalem, and he set the foundation of the temple. Sheshbazzar set the foundation of the temple. So when you understand that, you go to like I said, I'm doing a lot of reading. So you go to back to Daniel right quick, right? And you're gonna see that not Daniel, but Zechariah, my bad. You go and you see that Zechariah prophesied that Zerubbabel in Daniel chapter 4, it says, Zechariah, excuse me, Zechariah chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, grace unto grace." Right? And then it says, 8, "Moreover, the word of the Lord came again unto me, Haggai, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house, and the hands shall also finish it, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you." Right? "For who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord which run to and fro." So we see right here, it's telling you in Zechariah that Zerubbabel is going to build the temple. But in Ezra, in the Apocrypha, he's saying that Sheshbazzar is going to build the temple. So what's going on with that? You come to find out, the God that's in Babylon, the last part of his name, the God is got that Zar on the end of it. That's a God. So we know Nebuchadnezzar got that in his name, Nebuchadnezzar, then Nebuchadnezzar, Lord of hosts. Nebuzaradan, he got that same Zar in his name. So when they brought the Israelites to Jerusalem, when they brought the Israelites to Babylon, they changed their names. Daniel, they called him Belteshazzar. Let's look at that. Okay, look at it right quick. I'm in the book of Daniel right quick. It says, let me get it. Okay. Yeah, so it says in verse 11, Daniel 1 and 11, to give you another example. Then said Daniel to Melchizedek. He just all of them got this name. The Chaldeans got it in their name. So it says, whom the prince of the eunuchs has set over Daniel, Hananiah, Meshach, and Azariah. Just the Hebrew names, right? It says, let me get it. Yeah, so I don't have time to find it. So it says that anybody know what that said? So he says Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. So just like in Shadrach's name was changed to Abednego, and then in Azariah's name was changed to let me get it.
Shalom. Check
They
Daniel
changed their name.
2.
So Zerubbabel name was changed to Sheshbazzar. So Zerubbabel and Sheshbazzar is the same person. That's why I said telling you, they came out and gave all the gold and all the silver and all the vessels of the house of the Lord to Sheshbazzar, because he's the prince. But not only he's the prince, I'm gonna show you in a minute that he's the king. He's out of David lineage. So they brought all this stuff out to him because he's the king. And if you go back and look at the story, let's look at it. So if you go back to look at the story in 2 Kings, right quick. Let's look at 2 Kings. Like I said, it's gonna take this Sabbath class and the evening Sabbath class to break this down. I wanted to shine a light on this again. So
Brother Leonard.
you go to Second Chronicles. Let me do it. 2 Kings, my bad. 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 24. Right? So you see right here, this in Nebuchadnezzar, the Chaldeans came to Jerusalem 3 times. And every time they came, they took a group of people and went and took them back until finally at the end, when Israel was so stiff-necked, the Lord of hosts brought Nebuchadnezzar the last time, and he used Nebuzaradan, his Lord of hosts, and they tore the whole. They burnt Jerusalem down. So chapter 25, only 2 Kings 25. This is how Zerubbabel, he didn't just pop up out of the blue. This is how Zerubbabel got into Babylon right here. So I'm in 2 Kings 25. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land, and the city was broken up, and all the men of war led by night by the way of the gate between the 2 walls, which is by the king's garden. And the king went the way toward the plains, and the army of the Chaldeans. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm in the wrong place. My bad. I'm in 24 and 8. My bad. So it says Jeconiah was taken captive to Babylon. So Jeconiah is one of Josiah's sons. He's sitting on the throne at the time when Nebuchadnezzar came. So Jeconiah is out of the lineage of David. So he got his sons out of the lineage of David. So this is one of his sons right here, the one that was on the throne at the time when Nebuchadnezzar came. It says Jeconiah was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother name was, notice 3 months. And his mother name, and the reason it's 3 months, the Lord of hosts is burnt out. His indignation that came to a fool. So he ready to do away with Israel and all that. He threw it, he tired of it. So he says, Jeconiah was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother name was Nehushta, daughter of Elam, Nathan, whatever that name, of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. And at that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servant did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon. Look at this. This is the king of Judah. Went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign, and he carried him out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem, all the princes, all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained, save the poor sort of the people of the land. And he carried away, look at this, he carried away Jehoiakim, David's descendant, right, to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and the officers, and the mighty men, those he carried into captivity in Babylon. So it's a reason he's doing this. Because so he's making sure he's protecting David's lineage. He got a covenant with David. He always going to watch over his lineage. His lineage is not going to be extinct or come to an end. So not only did he bring Jehoiakim with him, did he have Nebuchadnezzar to take Jehoiakim, but he took his mama and all his wives and all his sons. So they in Babylon for 70 years. So now let's go back to Haggai, what I read, the first verse I read. Okay, in Haggai, it says, okay, I'm in Haggai chapter 2, verse 20. And again, this is how the Lord can do this right here. And again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai at the proper time, right? And in the 12th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, king of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. Well, let's go to chapter 2, verse 1. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, look at this, the son of Sethel, governor of Judah, right? So who is Sethel? Jehoiakim had Sethel while he was in Babylon. And then Sethel had Zerubbabel. Most High was preserving that lineage for the prophecy Daniel already prophesied it, that the prince of Judah was going to be, out of David's lineage, was going to bring the Israelites back to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. So this prince or this branch is being preserved through Jehoiakim, Josiah's son. He was taken to Babylon, but not only was he taking his wives too, to preserve that seed. So let's look at it again and see the process of it. So it says in chapter 10, 2 Kings 25. Remember, he took Jehoiakim and his mama, his wives, all his sons, everything. Most High preserved him. This covenant. David keep on saying, tender mercies that you got with me. You got a personal relationship with me. Your tender mercies toward me. So this one of them right here. So he says, 2 Kings 25 and 27, and it came to pass, right? So remember, the throne that's in Jerusalem is David's throne. It's not Jesus' throne. Jesus is a fictitious character. So 2 Kings 25 and 27, it came to pass in the 7th and the 30th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim. There he is. Just 37 years later, Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, that evil Murdoch, Nebuchadnezzar dead, one of his sons on the throne. Evil Murdoch, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign. See that Nebuchadnezzar died. Remember what he told him. Go to Babylon, serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son and his grandson. That's in the scriptures. That's what these Israelites looking at. So he says, evil Murdoch, king of Babylon, in the year he began to reign, did lift up the head of Jehoiakim. See that? Jehoiakim still alive. King of Judah out of prison. And he spake kindly to him and set his throne. See that? Jehoiakim throne, that's David's throne. Jehoiakim sitting on it. He says, and he spake kindly to him and set his throne above the thrones of the kings that were in Babylon. So remember, Nebuchadnezzar is king of kings, and that's why all the rest of them governors. So he says, and he spake kindly to him and set his throne above the thrones of the kings that were with him in Babylon. And he changed his prison garment, and he did eat bread continuously before him all the days of his life. So now he done brought him out of prison, his wives and all that's still there. So he eating at the king's table. So that's how Zerubbabel came about. Lord of hosts protected him. Not only him, his wives and everything, so that he can keep that seed line, that the prince, the Messiah that Daniel talked about in 9:25, which is Zerubbabel. And so, like I said before, Nebuchadnezzar, let me read that. Somebody just gave me that information. Daniel says, Daniel 1:7. So it says, in verse 6, Daniel 1:6 says, now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of Eunice gave names. See that? For he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar. And then he tells you about Hananiah, Shadrach, and Mishael, Meshach, and Azariah, Abednego. So he changed their names, gave them Chaldean names according to the Chaldean God. So Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. Zerubbabel's name was changed to Sheshbazzar. That's in Ezra. Same person. And so, like I said, the people that construct the New Testament knew that. And they sidebarred it. So that's the same person. So that's the prince that's in Daniel 9:25. And like I said before, you see how this being, you looking at it. It ain't nothing I concocted. So what is it doing? It's killing the New Testament. You can't keep fumbling with it. It's killing it. So if you ain't never heard this, you ain't never seen this, yeah, the day is your big day. It's over with. New Testament has nothing to do with us and our deliverance. Us leaving here and us going back and us getting reconnected to our God. It ain't none of him. You got, and like I said, it's amazing to me after all this information, you're not thankful that the Most High delivered it to you. You started trying to find a way to make JC work. When we see right here, I haven't veered from none of the scriptures. It's not him. It ain't him. Zerubbabel is the person that's in Daniel 9:25. So I read where he said that Sheshbazzar, they gave all the vessels to Sheshbazzar, and then Sheshbazzar left and from Babylon back to Jerusalem. He took all the stuff back to build a temple, and he said he laid the foundation of the house. Okay, so let's look at. Then I showed you that. Let's go to 2 Chronicles right quick again, and we're gonna see Zerubbabel did the same thing. So they wanted the same person. So now I'm in 2 Chronicles, right? No, my bad. I'm in Ezra. Okay, I'm in Ezra, and we saw that in Ezra chapter 1, Cyrus came out and made the proclamation fulfilling Daniel 9:25. Then it says, Ezra 1 and verse 7. Also, Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar, see that he's walking the dog, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem and had put them in the house of his God. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. See, a prince of Judah. That is Zerubbabel. Then 9. We're gonna see that in a minute. And this is the number of them. 30 charges ago. So we get to verse 2. We get to chapter 2, and we're gonna see who it is. Chapter 2, verse 1. Now these are the children of the providence right? They're placing them in Babylon. Babylon got providences. These are the children of the providence that went up out of captivity, right? Of those which have been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem. So from Babylon to Jerusalem, just like Sheshbazzar did, right? Says, and again unto Jerusalem and Judah, everyone unto his city. Then here you go, verse 2, which came with Zerubbabel. So it says Sheshbazzar up here. He gave all the vessels to Sheshbazzar, but when you get to chapter 2, it's Zerubbabel. See that? Which came with Zerubbabel. Now, this is my point I want to make. Verse 2, chapter 2, verse 2, which came with Zerubbabel, Joshua, Nehemiah. Nehemiah with him. So you can't place Nehemiah off somewhere else 150 years later or 150 years earlier. So Nehemiah with him, Shirah, Mordecai with him. See that? Mordecai with him. So all this happened at the same time. But in order to concoct the story with JC, they didn't spread it all this out. Confusion of faith. Like he promised. That's how God works. Give us a confusion of faith. Allow these people to give us a confusion of faith. So there it is. Mordecai, Nehemiah with him. So what else did I show you? Haggai with him. Zerubbabel with him. I mean, Zechariah and Haggai with him. So let's look at that. Okay. Yeah, I got so many books here, man. So we're gonna go to Zechariah. Zechariah with him, right? So that place Zechariah in this, they got him over here as minor prophets, but they all with Zerubbabel, the Messiah that's in Daniel 9:25. Nothing to do with JC, but they tell you that's this golden card of the New Testament that he was prophesied to come in Daniel 9:25. So anyway, Zechariah. You know, like I say, tie your shoes up for this one. So Zechariah, I'm in chapter 9. Zechariah 9. And here we go. It says, I'm starting at verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrach and Damascus shall be the rest thereof, when the eyes of men as of all the tribes of Israel shall be toward the Lord. And Hamath also shall the borders thereby Tyrus, Zidon, though it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold and a heap of silver as dust and fine gold as a mirror of the streets. Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire. Ashdod shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. Askelon, all these are cities, strongholds, for her expectation shall be ashamed. The king shall perish from Gaza, Askelon, and shall not be inhabited. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines, and I will take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abomination from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God, and he shall be as governor, king in Judea, and Ashkelon as a Jebusite. So what is going on right here? Well, I just showed you in Haggai. Look at it. I just showed you in Haggai. Look what the Most High said. And so they got all this stuff where you can't, you're not lining it up because they got it scattered. So Haggai says in chapter 2, verse 20, and again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, king of Judah, saying, look at this, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the kingdom, the thrones of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. Then here you go. In that day, says the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, son of Shealtiel, says the Lord, and I will make thee a signet. for I have chosen thee. So he said he's going to destroy all the kingdoms around that area. Babylon in that area. Well, that's what we're looking at right here. Zerubbabel says. He says in verse 3, Zechariah 9:3, Tyrus did build up a stronghold and a heap of silver as in dust, fine gold as in the middle of the streets. Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and he shall devour her with fire. Ashkelon shall see it and fear. God, all these is in between Babylon and Jerusalem. So he destroying all these cities on Zerubbabel's account to fulfill prophecy. So he says in 6, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod and will cut off the pride of the Philistines, and I will take away his blood out of his mouth and his abomination from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God, and he shall be as governor in Judah. Right? That's Zerubbabel, right? And Ashkelon as Ekron as a Jebusite, and I will encamp about mine house because of the army, because of him that passeth by, and because of him that returneth, and no oppressor shall pass through, even any more. For now have I seen with mine eyes. Now here we go. Zechariah and Haggai is with Zerubbabel. So who the hell is this? In Zechariah 9:9, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass, upon a coat of ass. That's Zerubbabel coming back from Babylon, coming back to Jerusalem, fulfilling Daniel 9:25. And they stuck JC over there talking and got palm leaves and all this bullshit on the ground, talking about he coming in Jerusalem. Zerubbabel right here. Zechariah's coming. Zechariah with him and Haggai with him. Okay. So let me give you one more thing and I'll open it up for some comments. Okay. Let's look at it. I'm in the Apocrypha. So, okay. I'm in the Apocrypha. Let me get this right quick. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, let me get this, see if I'm in the right place. Yeah, here you go right here. So it says I'm in the Apocrypha, the first book of Ezra. And then so I'm gonna start reading at this is chapter so it's chapter 5. Chapter 5. I'm starting at verse chapter 5, starting at verse 69. We will help you build, for we like you. Obey your Lord. This is Edomites trying to help Zerubbabel build a temple. And I have sacrificed to him for the days of Ekron, king of Assyria, who brought us up here. And Zerubbabel and Josiah and the heads of the families of Israel said unto them, it is not for you and us to build the house of the Lord our God, for we will build it. Remember, he says Zerubbabel is going to lay the foundation, and the hands of Zerubbabel is going to lay the foundation. For we will build it by ourselves for our Lord, for the Lord of Israel, as Cyrus, the king of Persia, has commanded us. They go to commandments. He said, but the heathen of the land pressed upon those who were in Judah and blockading them, hindered them from building, And by making plots and stirring up the people and uprising, they prevented the completion of the building all the lifetime of King Cyrus. So this is why he's cut off right here, Daniel 9:26. So they were kept from building in 2 years. This is why he's cut off until the reign of Darius. But now here you go. In the second year of reign of Darius, the prophets with an S on it, Haggai and Zechariah, the son of Edu, prophesied to the Jews who were in Judea and Jerusalem, prophesying to them in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. Then Zerubbabel, see that? So Haggai, Zechariah, Zerubbabel, all together. JC ain't nowhere to be found. So he says, then Zechariah, son of Sethel, and Jeshua, the son of Zolek, got up and began to build the house of the Lord and was in Jerusalem, while the prophets of the Lord joined them to help them. So, like I said before, Zechariah and Haggai ain't talking. How the hell they talking about Jesus when Zerubbabel? They with Zerubbabel. Their whole ministry is around Zerubbabel and them coming back, leaving Babylon, and coming back to Jerusalem. So Zerubbabel the one came back with them, not Jesus. Zerubbabel the one that's on the ass, coming back to Jerusalem, riding on the coat of an ass. The king, the anointed one, the Messiah. So I'm gonna open it up for some questions. Anybody got a question? Comments? Any question? Comments?
Shalom, everyone. Can you hear me, Brother Leonard?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, as you were reading out of Zechariah and out of Daniel, right? We can clearly see that it has nothing to do with JC. You know, they try to say he was anointed also, but it has nothing to do with JC. It does not show that he's out of the lineage of David at all. But when you go to First Ezra and the Apocrypha, like you said, they try to stick him in there, in the Apocrypha, but in the KJV, he's not there at all. So it's connecting the dots, like you said. You have to go back and get that understanding, because if you just jump to Daniel or Zechariah, you're going to be lost. And again, you have proven to us over and over again, JC has nothing to do with being out of the lineage of David at all.
Exactly. Right. It was a plug. They plugged him in there, and they denigrated that story, that whole story, that whole scenario, which spans across a long period. It's a bunch of books that he spanned across, and it's turning to Zerubbabel, not pertaining it to Jesus Christ, and all the stuff that already transpired. They didn't arrange the books around to try to make you think that it hadn't happened. But when you see from what I just done that it's been synchronized. You can see it wasn't none of it. He had nothing to do with it. He was placed there.
Right.
So so when you see that, I mean, like I said, it's on each individual. You wanna shrug it off, whatever, it's on you. But you can't say that it hadn't been broken down, because that's where we at. You hearing this, and this being revealed because of where we at. There ain't nothing new under the sun. We see the process of how he brought Moses on the scene. We see the process now how he brought Zerubbabel on the scene. So it's no different than what he's getting ready to do. He's doing the same thing now. Like I said, you got people that's 60, 70, 80 years old. They ain't never heard of Zerubbabel. You think he just all of a sudden not hearing of it? No, because of the truth coming out. That's why you hearing it. He all over the book, but you ain't know who the hell he was till now. It's a reason for that. Most High uncovering the lies. Yeah. And you can turn it, flip it, dip it any kind of way you want. You can't undo what's in the scriptures. Once it's been revealed, you can't undo it. Yeah. So, anybody else got any more comments before we go? We're gonna finish this out with the, tying this to the Antichrist and the end times and all that. We're gonna in the evening Shabbat class. Everybody good?
I'm good, man.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say shalom to everybody. I'll see everybody at 6 o'clock, so we can close out the Shabbat.
Shalom, man. Good class today.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom.